Manchester combined starting 11, so a combination of United players, City players throughout the years, sort of, going back till whenever you can remember, basically, and
Well,
putting
I was
together.
just going to do Premier League, but if you want to do all time, that's cool.
For me as a City fan, it's not that hard to think too far back to when I remember that we've had decent players. But I'll give it a go. I know where this is going to go. Expect a lot of arguments. Expect me and Nick not to speak for a few weeks. And yeah,
This will
let's
be the
go.
last video.
Let's go with the goalkeeper.
Um,
I'd like to put a very weak, and this is weak. I'm not biased at all. A very weak suggestion forward of Ederson or Joe Hart. Joe Hart's true grit through and through. He won quite a lot at our club, a few Premier League titles, a few other trophies here and there. Had a lot of Champions League experience as well. He's a great player. He's an England international. I think he's got a few caps for England as well.
a
He's fell
few.
off the grid a bit now. Ederson's, a great player as well in his own right. He's brought a different sort of style of goalkeeping to our club. And well, with the whole Pep coming as well, obviously that was where that sort of came from. I love the guy. He's nuts. He's a great keeper. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think in a few years he could maybe replace the guy that Nick's about to say and I'm about to agree with.
I liked his assist for McTominay the other week.
Just shows
It was
how
good
far you're
assist.
sunk.
oh, right for the heart. No, I can see why you've put them forward. I mean, when you've
Lee Grant.
when you've got Richard Wright and Nicky Weaver and David James as the other options. Scott Carson, yeah, good signing.
He's somehow there at the minute. Yeah.
So the man I'd like to put forward first, I did mention him briefly in the last video. Gave him a little shout out. Peter Schmeichel, probably the greatest goalkeeper of all time.
In case people who are watching this can't tell, we preempted this and copied his name because we can't spell it. Anyway.
I think he has to go in. My other option, and you'd be surprised, I'm not going to pick De Gea. I would have picked Edwin van der Sar because for us, he was phenomenal.
What made him not reach the level of Schmeichel then?
I think Schmeichel had the longevity, but I suppose he was only there for another season. But I just have to go with Schmeichel. He just pulled off some unbelievable saves. Unbelievable. Okay, again, it's videos, but you've agreed already. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got this position.
Well, that's it. I can't really disagree, to be honest. It's,
no.
Not in that position anyway. There's a few other positions which I think we know we're going to struggle with.
Let's start with one of them, right back.
Right back.
Right.
For me, Kyle Walker.
Other option? You go on about him all the time. I'm surprised you've not put him forward.
Go on.
Pablo. You literally speak about him all the time.
The thing is, with Pablo, I love him, but I don't... this is going to sound so awful as a City fan. I love Pablo Zabaleta. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy. I really do. I spoke about my fondness of Aguero in another video, I think, but I love Zabaleta. I just don't feel like he's got sort of the same game as Walker, and I feel like my mind of who's the best player who would sort of win a league in today's, if they were up to fitness in today's league, I feel like Walker would actually be a little bit better than Zabaleta, for numerous different reasons. Don't get me wrong, when I get slated for this, I love Zabaleta, I really do. I still do. He came on the other week for West Ham game we were at, and I was, on my feet applauding him. I love the guy. I was at his last game, applauding him, crying my eyes out. I love the guy, but I just feel like Walker has a little bit more of an edge over him. I guess for experience, you'd pick Zabaleta. So I guess I'm having a bit of a fight with myself in my mind. But whilst I make my mind up, go on. I'll let you
put my two forward.
Two pence forward.
Well, I mean, the first one has to be Gary Neville when you actually think about it. He was a player at the end of the day. He didn't have much about him.
Just about.
He didn't have much about him in skill-wise, but he had hard work, and that's really underrated quality. But he was a good player, a good servant to the club. The other option, now, obviously, I can't put Wan-Bissaka forward. It's not time. Valencia, I like Valencia, but I don't think he was a good right back. So through default, I'd have to put Wes Brown, and Wes Brown is an underrated player. I believe if he stayed fit, I think we might not have signed Vidic. I'm not sure. And you can call that a bold statement, and I'm sure United fans will eat that up in the comments. But I would pick Wes Brown. I mean, that year when we won the Champions League and the Premier League, I know you can say it's a long time ago. You'll get your jibe in a minute. But he was phenomenal down that right-hand side with Cristiano Ronaldo. And I might as well just say that he's definitely going to be in the team before we even get any further. Cristiano Ronaldo, not Wes Brown. He might not be.
I mean, I can't agree on the right back. I mean, I am having a bit of a back and forwards in my head. I'm not going to lie. I've been sort of sat here staring at the wall behind the screen, thinking, Zaba, Walker. I think my overwhelming love for Zaba wins over Walker every time without having a footballing knowledge. You know, if I look past the football, I'm like, yeah, it's Zaba. But I'm going to have to go with him. I'm going to have to. There he is. I mean, he's a West Ham player there.
I mean, we're not making a case for Gary Neville.
I love West Ham. I mean...
Did Zabaleta have more going forward? That's the question, because Gary Neville could whip a cross in.
He did have a lot going forward. I mean, not towards the back. I think that's the problem. Not towards the back end of his sort of career. He didn't. And I mean, I remember his last game against West Brom. He come on for, I think he come on about the 60th minute, and we were like, you know, my mates were like, yeah, here he comes, you know, Zabaleta. And he gave the ball away, and they scored. It was like, oh, that was Zaba's fault. Oh well. It was just, come on, Zaba, we love you really. And it was like, you know, he's one of them players where you could do something wrong no matter when it was, and no one would say anything. It was like, it was fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Right. I'll concede this position, but just know,
you know it's right.
There is no other position that I'm going to concede.
Bloody hell! It'll be on something then.
Right, centre backs.
Right, can I put a case forward?
Can I go first? I mean, you've gone first every time.
I mean, I've got a legendary player. He's called Richard Dunn.
How about? That's a good one, that. I mean, I've got William Prunier. Not that you even know who that is. No, I will see you, Richard Dunn, right? And let's be serious. We're doing this to try and be a bit serious sometimes. I'm going to put forward Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic. I'm going to make a case for Ferdinand first. He was a defender. I know you hate him, actually. I remember you telling me this. You hate him for whatever reason. Lovely guy, Rio Ferdinand. Pace, anything. Recovery pace was there. He was good. He was underrated. He could play out from the back. And people think that he couldn't play out from the back, but he would make passes into the midfield. He would be whipping the ball in. And it was incredible to see. I think Nemanja Vidic, for opposite reasons, he was a warrior. Whatever you say about Vidic, you might not have liked him, but he was a warrior. He left it all on the pitch.
Do you know what? I somewhat agree with the Vidic one. I mean, he was a class player. Like, you knew what you were coming up against. He was sort of a defender that struck fear into people, and you don't get that too much anymore. Like, you can think of players like
so we're putting Vidic and Ferdinand in then, yeah.
I don't agree with Ferdinand, not at all. I don't like the guy. He was born and bred cheat. I mean, the whole drug.
One missed drug test. Come on.
I will put.
Let's put Vidic.
I'll put Vidic in.
He's got to be in. He's got to be in.
Nemanja, where is he? He's not in there.
Last name. There you go. Surely. Is he not in there? Type his last name, Vidic. This will be a sight for sore eyes, won't it?
Oh,
well, that's ruined it. Rio's going to have to go in because he's got to be a United player.
I really don't want to concede that.
Well, if we can't find him, we'll put Ferdinand in, but it's Nemanja really.
It's Nemanja really. So this is Nemanja.
For me, it'd be Rio and Nemanja. Go on, make your cases for your actual defenders.
Face there just winds me up. I could put a case forward for a few, but obviously the one we all know it's coming. You know it's coming, don't you?
I know who's coming. Let's go.
It's got to be Big Vinny. You know what I mean? Like, again, another player that just means so much to the club. Not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. Like the stuff he's done. Great player. Obviously started when we signed him. He was a midfielder, a bit of a box-to-box midfielder, which seems a bit crazy.
He came before the money, didn't he?
He did. He was one of Mark Hughes' last signings, I think. I think he came in.
So January. best thing Mark Hughes did for your club was sign the company.
Possibly is, yeah. At the time
You
when we
came after the
signed
money
him,
though, didn't you? Yeah.
yeah, I only started watching him when was it? 2010 was it? Something like that. Yeah.
No, I'm messing. He was there when Birmingham were beating them 2-0 at
Uh,
home.
Kevin Phillips giving us the shush, and I thought, you know what? Let's come back to this. This is fun.
That's why I'm putting him in D.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was the real reason. If you've seen that video, if not, watch it. Yeah, so obviously I put a case forward for company. Obviously, every day of the week. Such an important player. He's a
For the
leader.
purposes that this app cannot find Nemanja Vidic, it's got to be company, hasn't it?
It's got to be. I mean, he's
He's your
such an
best centre
important
back on
player.
paper.
He's such an important player, sort of like in the dressing room as well. Like he was like you could tell when his presence was there. I mean, we've missed him this season. Luckily, it might not
Yeah, I
count.
can see that.
Fingers crossed. You can tell that he's not been there this year, and I was sad when he went. I was really sad because given the way he
Touching.
went out as well, the way he went out with the bang.
That was a good goal. I mean, I was in Cyprus and I watched that game, and my stepdad wanted Leicester to win because I think he had Liverpool to win the league.
Yeah.
And when company scored, there was just a bit of satisfaction on my face because sometimes it's just fun to watch him lose.
I think I just screamed so loud. To be honest, ever since that Champions League game when we beat Spurs in the last minute, I'm a bit reluctant to celebrate with VAR. But obviously it wasn't around the Prem then, so I knew
You didn't
I knew
beat Spurs in the Champions League.
Yeah. Well, we did in my mind, right? In my mind, we played Liverpool in the final and we
Lost 2-0
We played
to a dodgy penalty.
No, it's not at Anfield, so we'd possibly do all right.
To a dodgy penalty.
We walk into Anfield and we go, ooh. Right,
boom.
left back.
Have you got a left back to put forward, or do you want me to go first while you think?
I have, but I'll let you go first.
I was going to go Patrice Evra. Might be a guy you don't like again, but he was unbelievable. He was. And you can say what you want, but him and Ashley Cole were the two best left backs in the world at that point. And I couldn't tell you who was better. As a United fan, I was biased towards Evra. But I love Patrice Evra. I love this game, man. I love this game.
I love this game.
I would put Dennis Irwin forward. Again, it's someone I'd not seen play in his prime. I did go to his last ever game against Charlton, but I would put Dennis Irwin forward as my second choice and Patrice Evra just because I saw Patrice Evra more. Most players, when you watch them pick an 11, they'll pick Dennis Irwin. But I would put Patrice Evra in there and he has to go in there because he's better than any City left back I can think of.
My left back I was putting forward was veteran Carl Luca. No, my left back I was putting forward was obviously going to be Michael Ball.
Wow.
Joking with you. No, it was going to be Kolarov. He was a great player. He had a solid left foot on him, but given his stature, I mean, he's a great player. Like I said, never slate him, but
I'm not
like
conceding Evra for
Kolarov. Sort of won a little bit more, so I guess I'll concede that one.
Hey, I'm not conceding Evra to Kolarov. Watch him not be in there.
He won't be, will he? What is this?
I'm sure he just came up then, didn't he? Are you searching left back?
Yeah.
Right, well, for purposes of this video, let's just spray an Evra in there.
Where is Evra? He's not a legend, is he? That's why.
Well, he is. I mean, he's a legend in my eyes. What are you searching? Patrice?
Yeah.
Have you tried Evra? Did he not come up?
No.
Put that undefined guy in. It's Patrice Evra.
Wonder what?
Put that undefined guy, or whatever he is. I can't read it from here.
That's it.
It's Evra for me.
So this is Vidic and this is Evra.
It's going great, this video over. Damn you, COVID-19. Right.
Anyway.
Let's move on to DM, and I will let you go first.
Oh, I'm not sure which one the DM position is going to be. Right, DM. Nigel de Jong.
Kung Fu Kit comes to mind.
Absolute brick bleak house. I mean, he was just unbeatable. Like, he's just solid. Like, such a good player. I mean, we've been quite lucky. We've had quite a lot of good DMs. Like, we had Dimi Hamann. I know towards the back end of his career, but he was a good player. when we got him for we were in the UEFA Cup, saw us through a few games. It was brilliant.
I shouldn't laugh at that, should I?
What's wrong with Dimi Harman?
I meant that I was laughing at the UEFA Cup. No, I shouldn't laugh at that.
You're technically in it now. No, and then obviously the other name put forward obviously is going to be Fernandinho.
So you're putting De Jong before Fernandinho?
No, I think I put Fernandinho before that. I mean, De Jong wasn't with us for quite as long. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy, but Fernandinho, what he's done for us, what he's won with us, and he's been sort of central to that. I don't think I could really look past him, to be honest. So I'm putting Fernandinho forward there.
Right, let's put my two forward, and we'll try and debate this and come to some agreement of why either Roy Keane or Michael Carrick is getting in the team. Roy Keane, what can I tell you about Roy Keane that hasn't already been said?
Dirty.
I mean, minus that tackle, leader, legend. That night in Turin, I'd love to see Kompany do that. Score 1 goal, and put in a man of the match display against a Juventus team in the prime with a prime Zinedine Zidane in the team. He was a leader. I mean, I might not have liked him as a person, and how he left United, I don't agree with at all. But I just can't look past him. And if you had to look past him, and that's a big statement, maybe edit that first bit out and this bit. If you had to look past Roy Keane, it depends on how we want to play, but you'd have to put Michael Carrick in there. You say what you want, but Michael Carrick dictated tempo of United from 2008 alongside Scholes, and we'll get to Scholes later. I'm going to touch upon Scholes.
I'm willing to concede. I'm going in this team. I'm willing to concede. You know my feelings about him.
He's going in this team.
I'm willing to concede Keane, I think, at this position, just for the experience and obviously the stature of the guy.
There you go.
Compared to the De Jong and sort of Fernandinho that I've mentioned. Definitely, I think, that's if he's in here. I mean, it's not gone well so far. Oh, wow.
It hasn't. I think he would be, though.
Yeah, you think so. I mean,
I doubt De Bruyne's going to be in there.
It proves that Evra and Vidic aren't legends. Do you know what I mean? You've led me on nicely to my next point there, the CM spot there. Kevin De Bruyne, do we even need to discuss it, or can we just add him straight in? Because, I mean, you're a United fan, but you can agree he is one of the best players in the world right now. He's in the top 3. No problem.
He can have one of the spots. I think he would get in. Just. If he's in there.
I mean, that guy is unreal. I mean, the other CM spot, I'm going for that as well. I'm gunning for it.
Yeah, I know you're gonna suggest. You're gonna suggest David Silva.
It's got to be.
It hasn't got to be. You got to make a case here for Paul Scholes.
There's just no comparison between the two.
My other option, because of the way we're playing, and because I've already preempted that Cristiano Ronaldo's getting in that team, I would go for David Beckham in that position over David Silva. David Beckham could ping a ball. You got Keane winning it back, feeding it to De Bruyne and Beckham. You've already got the flair there with De Bruyne.
He had the
You don't need a David Silva.
He had to play. Beckham. He was a good player.
But
he had the game about him.
There's another man that can do that, and his name is Paul Scholes. No. His name is not David Silva.
I can never give that guy the time of day.
David Beckham was loyal. He just fell out with Fergie, and when you fell out with Fergie, that was it. Roy Keane did it. Gone. One of the greatest players we've had. Gone. So Ruud van Nistelrooy did it. Gone. It is what it is. Cutthroat management. I mean, we'll get to the manager later. But we know that Fergie's going to be the manager.
Oh, God, no. Luckily, there isn't a manager option on this, so hopefully we can avoid that argument, because that will go on for ages.
Well, it wouldn't, because we could just argue what he's won.
I mean, I just feel like David Silva in this position is just more a gifted player. He can pick guy can pick a pass anywhere on the pitch.
So can Paul Scholes.
It doesn't matter where he stood. And I mean,
Paul Scholes has to be in this team.
Paul Scholes when he retired.
What? He was like 36.
I feel like
he still came back and won a Premier League after retirement. You know that, right?
Did he play?
And he changed his position.
Was he essential in that team? Was he central to the team, or was he just?
He played DM.
Exactly.
He played.
He's not in the CM position. It's not his natural position, is it?
That one would be, because you got Roy Keane there doing the defensive work. De Bruyne and Scholes going forward. You couldn't beat that.
No, I just honestly, David Silva's the man there.
I just can't concede David Silva going into this team. I like David Silva as a player. I could concede him maybe going on the left wing,
He's not a
and we
left
could,
winger though.
but your other options on the left wing aren't that great. I mean, I just can't concede him going in that centre midfield zone. He used to be a left winger. He came in as a winger.
I don't know, but he's played more of his role central, to be honest.
If we were doing a 4-3-2-1, then obviously it would have been like Keenan Scholes as DMs, De Bruyne as CM, LAM, you could have had David Silva, and RAM, you would have had Cristiano Ronaldo.
So instead, we're just going to Bob Silver in, aren't we? You know what I mean?
I feel you're doing a disservice to Paul Scholes there. I don't like it. You have control of the computer, which obviously annoys me. You might not be bumping David Silva in there because can you find him? That's the question.
Well,
Is he even listed as a CAM?
Do you know what? He might not be. Oh no, he is.
I bet he's listed.
CAM, yeah.
I just don't like the look of that. But let's move on. Let's move on. Right wing.
We'll do right wing, yeah.
Ronaldo.
Do you know
I mean,
I can't even disagree.
Is there any other debate?
I can't even disagree. Look at his plastic face. I can't disagree. I honestly can't. I mean, yeah. I mean, who could disagree with that? Do you know what I mean?
Who could you put forward instead of him that would be as good? That is my question to you.
I don't think there is anyone, if I'm being honest. I mean, I agree with the whole, this is going to cause a real debate. I agree with the whole, Ronaldo and Messi situation, that Ronaldo is better. And I think as a player he is. Again, that you could talk about that for hours, but
yeah, I mean,
I think he is better than Messi.
He's more naturally two-footed, in my opinion. But again, I'm United, so I better not say anything because I'll be deemed biased.
Well, the thing is, I'm City, and most City fans would possibly hate Ronaldo or used to dislike. I used to dislike him. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, he didn't score that many derby goals. He only scored once in the derbies.
I remember he had one game against us. Michael Ball was marking him. And
he scored that penalty when we won the league.
Comfortable to watch. It was horrible. Did you win the league that day?
Yeah, we won the league that day. We're the only team to ever win the league in a derby. I mean,
that.
You almost did it, but I can't remember what happened on that day. Can you?
Yeah, we won it the week after when you lost to West Brom. I remember.
True.
Moving special on left wing. Go on, I'll let you put your name forward.
I've got two names, and the only reason I'm going to put this guy forward is maybe I could consider conceding the striker position if we can somehow get Wayne Rooney in on that left wing. You can argue he's not a winger, but he did a job there. When we won the Champions League in 2009, he did a job there. When we were playing Ronaldo, not won the Champions League in 2009. We won it in 2008. He still did a job there in 2008. 2009, we got beat by Barcelona. It was horrible that night. But anyway, so left wing, because I know that you're going to try and make a strong case for Aguero and you've got the control of the computer,
he's going.
I would argue Wayne Rooney would be my preferred first choice, and that's only because I've got stuff against Ryan Giggs for what he did to his brother, because I watched his brother play for FC United, and I liked his brother. He was a nice guy. Yeah. But Ryan Giggs, I mean, his record speaks for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who you can put forward for left wing, because you didn't really play with wingers at the first start of it, did you?
No, not until recent, really. I mean, we had a few pretty bad wingers, if I'm being honest with you. I mean,
you're going to put forward Robinho?
No, Rolando Bianchi comes to mind. I remember when we
I thought he was a striker.
He was, but he played on the wing a few times. But to be honest, he only played for us a handful of times.
That's fair.
And yeah, we've had some crazy players. I mean, we had Bellamy on left at one point, but he was more of a left mid. He sat a bit deeper.
I will just say this: if you do not concede this position to me, this striker debate is going to go on for a while because there ain't any way if Wayne Rooney left wing that Rooney's not getting in up top.
Well, I think personally I'll concede this position because there's a lot of players we've got in left wing. I mean, Sterling can play on the left. He's not great on the left, but he can play on the left.
I mean, Wan-Bissaka likes him playing on the left.
He doesn't like cutting in. I'm going to pretend he didn't say that. Sane's more gifted on the left, but Sane hasn't played for a few, months now.
Yeah. I mean, Sterling would wish I hadn't said that.
He's young still, Sane. Do you know what I mean? In a few years, this entire team sheet might look completely different. Edison might blow all these records out the window. And
if we're still doing this, in a few years, it might be completely different.
I think it might be. We should possibly touch back with it anyway. But anyway, I'm happy to concede this, I think, for the time being.
Are we going Rooney? Just because.
Big old Wazza. And
Because
then,
the thing is, him coming in at the back post, you've got another clinical finisher there. Ryan Giggs wasn't quite as clinical.
yeah.
I mean, just because I've said I know you're going to put a case forward for Aguero doesn't mean I have
There is
any
no
other.
case. It's just stamped in there. Amuse me. Let me sit back. Amuse me.
I mean, I only have. To be fair, I only have.
If you say Lukaku, I'm just going to end this video.
I was going to speak. Whoa. Let me speak. I was going to say Cantona, or hear me out. It'd be Robin van Persie or Cantona, and that is immediately on impact on the striker position.
I mean, in your heart of hearts, can you really say that those two players are better than Sergio Aguero?
I mean, in my heart of hearts,
with a serious face and really thinking about it, can you honestly?
Are you saying unbiased that the king is not better than? He's named the king.
You don't told him that. It's just biased. That's his name. Not quite.
Right. Right. I know I said I'm not going to concede another position, so, and I'm going to hate the fact you've already took Paul Scholes out of the team, which I feel is unforgivable, and he's got to be the first name on the bench. Striker, go on, put Aguero in.
That's what I think. You see,
I'll hate myself for it.
I mean, the guy is unreal.
If we're going to do a bench, I think it'd be Van der Sar.
Really?
Well, I'll say my bench. You can say yours. It'll be Van der Sar. I think it'd be Ferdinand because obviously that's Vidic. I don't know why it says Ferdinand there. Like, technical difficulties and all that. I'd actually put Bernardo Silva on the bench, and I know he's not been there long, and that's a big shout and a big statement.
He has a big.
But I really like what he's done for you guys, and that pains me to say that. But he's a good player
as well.
He's younger than you think, actually. Yeah. I think it's the beard makes him look older. Obviously, Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
Got to be on there. I don't know. Have you got any other suggestions for a bench?
For people on the bench?
I'd put Van Persie or Cantona on there, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Fernandinho, like I said before.
Yeah, you could put Fernandinho on there, yeah.
Maybe even Nigel de Jong. It'd be a bit of a scrap there for them too, I think, with a bench position.
Beckham as well, probably be in with a shout, wouldn't he?
Yeah. It's going to be a big-ass bench, this.
Big-ass bench. probably G Nevs. Get him out there. Yeah, plug. Let's go on then. Let's have this big argument over manager.
Well, I mean,
who are you putting forward? Let's be honest.
You know we won't put him forward.
Go on then. You put Pep forward.
It's got to be big Stu Pearce, hasn't it? I mean, no, it's Pep, obviously.
I was going to put David Moyes forward, so you called me out there.
Slashed you there. He's the chosen one. What do you mean? No, he's obviously his records speak for themselves. I mean, I know. He has been with us. I always say he's not been with us for a long time, but he actually has now.
He's been with you 4 years, is it? After this season?
He's been now. I know his first season was a bit flat, and everyone was a bit like.
Well, I'll see that 4 years and raise you 26 of building a dynasty that knocked Liverpool off a perch.
But why did it take him 26 years?
You can't just build a club in a day in that old money.
Pep tried it, didn't he? With his oil money. The ball
in that, yeah, but we didn't have that money back then. We had limited funds. We sorted out the youth academy. We're still the only team to ever really bring through and base a team around a core of youth players. You tell me another team that's done that lately. A core of youth players.
Southampton have done it for a long time.
Yeah, and been successful, mate. I suppose it depends what you determine success is. But I mean, successful at the highest level. I mean, I was watching a video the other day on Facebook, and it was people voting for Wenger or Fergie. And you know the only people that voted Wenger? City, Liverpool and Arsenal fans. And Southampton. I don't know why Southampton hate us so much. But...
But I mean, if you look at Pep's record in 4 years, what's he won? He's won the Premier League twice. He's won the FA Cup. He's obviously won the Carabao Cup, his favourite cup, 3 times now. And he's won the Community Shield twice. So he's won... What's he won? What's that? How many is that? Prem, FA Cup, League Cup, Community Shield. So that's 13. Is that 13?
Yeah.
Right? 13 fucking...
And that's not even half of what Fergie won?
Yeah, but in
Let's
how
put that out there.
long?
Yeah, you can say that and all
If
this.
he was, I don't think he will stay. I don't think he will stay.
Football was
for
different
3
back
years.
then.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to the
So
quality of football as well, I think.
yeah, but you've still got to do what you can. And has Pep won the treble with you? I know he's won it with Barca.
He's won the domestic quadruple. No one's ever done that. No one's ever won the domestic treble.
Did you say domestic quadruple then?
It is the quadruple because why would you not count the Community Shield?
Don't start. I'm not Jose Mourinho.
I mean, it's a trophy at the end of the day, isn't it? So it's like the League Cup. No one counts it, but why not? It's a trophy.
Well, I always say that. But you can't put Pep in over Fergie yet, mate. You can't. You know in your heart of hearts, even if you were looking at this unbiased and you saw the 2 records, you couldn't.
I mean, like I said, I've got enough. Well, I've got nothing against Fergie.
You got everything against Fergie before you start.
I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like Pep's records are just I don't want to say better because it's like Fergie's a good manager, but
I just can't believe he's speaking this sacrilege. I'm so glad that there's no manager. There is actually no manager.
If he carries on Pep until he's Fergie's age with the clubs he's managed, then surely that's going to be a greater achievement. He's gone to most continents in the world and he's won. Like,
yeah, but you've got to remember...
he's won, like, a lot.
United were a mid-table club when Fergie came in. City were not a mid-table club when Pep came in. City were a top 4 club. That's my argument here. We were a mid-table club.
The thing is, it still takes a lot to manage a team and bring in the right players. I mean, that's proven by the managers we've had before. I mean, yeah, we weren't a small club before. Do you know what I mean? Even when Mark Hughes came in, we were starting to grow a bit, but he didn't have the stature to deal with it or to bring the players in. Mancini, Mancini is honestly one of my favourite managers we've ever had. But I don't think he had the stature to sort of take us to that next level. Do you know what I mean?
I'm about to leave this chat, man, because you are getting me angry.
But it's like, Pep is like, if he manages for as long as Fergie did, I think he could honestly match it.
Yeah, but has he managed a mid-level team and took it to the top?
No, of course he hasn't.
Right then. The end of argument. That's it.
Why should he have to? Because he managed Barcelona's youth team and worked his own way up. Southgate didn't have to manage a load of other...
He managed Middlesbrough, did awful there. He got the England job.
Exactly. Yeah. So
there you go, but it's got to be Fergie.
Manager? Does that mean Southgate's a bad manager?
I never said that, did I? It's got to be Fergie, though.
That's the point you're making against Pep, isn't it?
The point I'm making against Pep is he's never done it without money or the best player in the world. And yeah, you can say Fergie invested a lot of money. No, it doesn't matter because you've got
spent more than 100 million on a player. He's never spent
neither
more than 70 million on a player.
It wasn't known back then to spend 100 million. You can say, but neither's Fergie spent more than 100 million on a player.
But he bought Ferdinand for a big lump sum.
30 million. How much did you buy? How much did you buy Liverpool Port for? How much did you buy Otamendi for?
That doesn't matter because at the time that was a lot of money. 30 mil for Ferdinand was a lot of money. That was like,
Pep Guardiola is not managing this team. It's got to be Fergie.
I mean, we might have to end this on undecided, I think, because
you know what? Let's let anyone who watches the video decide, Fergie or Pep. We'll do a little comment.
Well, I know where this is going, but appreciate my point.
So just to summarise the team here, we've got Peter Schmeichel in goal. I don't think there was any arguments on that, was there, Ant, really?
No, not really.
Zabaleta, I sort of conceded that one. I knew people underrate Gary Neville, and that's all I'll say in this video. We can leave that there. Obviously, that's Vidic, not Ferdinand. Just obviously technical difficulties because of the app. We are quite new to this, so we put Vincent Kompany there, which obviously again probably should be Ferdinand, but you know,
just drop it.
Is it? I gotta drop it. Yeah, it's Kompany. He did a lot for City. To be fair,
the most likewise name to ever there as well at left back, Kouassi.
Yeah. So that's Patrice Evra. Sorry, couldn't get his picture. Maybe image rights. You know, he might not have submitted his image rights. Can't imagine Cristiano Ronaldo as to this website we're using.
He loves this game, but he doesn't love this game. That's
then we got Roy Keane in the DM spot. I mean, I do like Roy Keane. I can't really complain about that. I got a player in. We've got Kevin De Bruyne. Again, I did concede that. He is a good player. Obviously, I said I wouldn't concede any more players, but De Bruyne is a good player. You know, No arguments there so far.
Then, yeah, not really.
This was the first, probably second argument, really. David Silva over Paul Scholes. Not happy about that, but it is what it is.
Silver's better than Scholes.
Well, Ronaldo, that was the quickest one, I think. I literally just said Ronaldo. You agreed. I mean, you can't really argue.
You can't
anyone
argue with Ronaldo, can you?
No. Rooney, obviously, we're playing him a bit out of position, but he would do a job there. And I think him coming in on Sergio Aguero, if he misses anything or doesn't score, is a really good combination. And then, obviously, Aguero up front.
No-brainer.
He's a great player, to be fair. I've got to try and take my United cap off and be a little bit less biased.
As hard as that is. Glued on.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? But yeah, there you go. So all we need now, guys, is a little bit of help deciding the manager.
That's it.
And that's it.
In the comments below. Pep. Think of the reasons. Pep.
Or Fergie. I mean, think of the reasons.
Sir Alex Ferguson. Saf, as we're going to call him.
Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah.
But until next time, stay inside. Wash your hands. Sing happy birthday. And look after yourself.
Peace out.